Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first Rate Fiction podcast. Don't have a title. We're working on it. Maybe it'll happen someday.
Hopefully, before this year's over.
That
we got a whole year, so
yeah. Okay. So I'm Peter.
I'm Josh,
and you're going to be listening to our voices for the rest of this podcast. If you can't hear us, this will probably be pretty boring.
Yeah, probably turn up your volume if you're having trouble hearing us. So we're thinking that it's the beginning of a new year, the end of an old year, and we kind of wanted to go over some different things. We're still trying to figure out what this podcast is going to be about, but you know, we're a YouTube channel, so it's going to be kind of media based, and we want to talk about some of the things that we learned this year about ourselves, about the world, whatever. So, what do you think? What did you learn this year?
So the problem that I have here is just I don't remember what happened yesterday. I don't remember what happened this entire year. So I'm straining to think. The biggest thing that comes to me is just I learned how to drive stick.
Stick. That's a good skill.
That was a first. I think that's really the only major thing that happened to me, or that I learned in 2014.
Yeah. It's good. I guess for me, it's been kind of a major year. Kind of. I shouldn't say kind of. I graduated. I got my film degree. I realized that getting film jobs is a lot harder than, well, maybe it's as hard as people expect, but it is difficult sometimes. But managed to find a job eventually and use some of those skills. I got engaged this year. It's been a momentous year. As for things that I learned that, you just gotta keep going. I don't even know. It's hard to think about.
It is. I kind of think from a media perspective. One thing that I was kind of thinking is just how advancements, like with technology stuff, it just keeps, we just keep getting newer and newer stuff. I think this year it kind of like, I don't know, to me it kind of felt like it leveled out, like in terms of, let's say, like I think, I was thinking from like the YouTube climate. I don't know. I can't think of the right word.
It's as good a word as any.
But I think
culture.
That this year seemed to, it really seemed to define, like that kind of presence in the media.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it has plenty of growing that it's doing still, but I do think that this year we definitely saw kind of like the most force we've seen from a YouTube perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
And by like how much power it actually has.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just going to keep growing from here. But
for sure, I think we're seeing a lot of like people and things trying to figure out what to do with like this new realm of social media, and YouTube companies are hiring a lot more people to work on like constructing a YouTube channel and providing like entertaining videos, because that's what people want to see nowadays. It's like, shorter and shorter media consumption seems to be the sort of mode at this time. And I don't know, it's just been really interesting to be, we've been a part of YouTube for a long time.
Right.
Like I think our first video we posted in 2006, 2007. And so we've seen like some of the growth of YouTube. We remember when some of the biggest channels were like just starting out, and they were making bad videos just like we were.
And back in the day, it's like to think that those people would turn that into a job,
and not just a job, but
like it's just mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like to think that making videos on YouTube would be a real
profession.
Profession, I guess, like a real career to make YouTube videos. And I think this year is really where where it has kind of like hit its stride, where it's like people realize what it means now, and yeah, I think that's the most interesting. Just what that has turned into from just what it was before when we started.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have like channels with 30 million subscribers, and back in the day, it was like video had 50 million views or something like that. That was the top
crazy.
Video.
Oh yeah.
That was like the worst one, best one. And since we're on the topic of YouTube, I think one of the things I wanted to talk about here was our most momentous media moments of 2014. So like that could do anything from games to movies to just some Facebook posts. I don't even know. And I want to start off by saying the Lego movie was like one of those media experiences that just blew me out of the water. It was completely unexpected. When did that movie come out? It came out in February, I think. And, February is usually like the dumping ground of the studios. They put out their pictures they're not expecting to get any kind of return off of. And, I remember seeing trailers for the Lego movie, and I was like, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good.
That was kind of interesting for me too. Like when I saw that, I was kind of thinking, I thought it was weird because it was like, I've seen Lego movies before. Typically, most of what comes to mind is like Bionicle kind of stuff. It's not
like the straight to video kind of
right. It's not really something that I would have ever thought that would be as big or popular as it became, or as good, I guess, as good quality.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it did or anything, but just like me personally, when I saw it and I thought it looked funny, I thought it looked good. I knew that I was going to enjoy it because typically I always enjoy those kind of things anyway.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the kind of level of quality or I didn't expect the level of quality that I actually got out of that movie. Like the quality of the excitement and entertainment that was like, wow, that was a genuinely really good movie. I thought that was really cool.
Like, I think I had my most laugh out loud moments of the year in the Lego movie. Like, I've never seen a theater. It was like a standing ovation at one point for one of the jokes. Like, everyone just was cheering and clapping, and I was blown away because, my friend was like, let's just do a pre-show thing just for kicks, we have nothing else to do. And so we went, and I was, again, like I said, blew my mind. So that was definitely one of my top media moments because it was just a good movie, and I wasn't expecting it. And I think people don't give funny movies enough credit sometimes because it's a difficult thing to pull off. So, hello.
I would like to see more people do stuff like that. I don't know how that would work, but
yeah,
I do like that. Just that sort of, when it is announced, you don't think it's going to be the coolest thing ever, and then it turns out to be way better than you thought it was going to be. I like to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, I guess, I mean, the two things that I really follow, the only things I really follow would be probably games and then YouTube. But games, I mean, I watch E3 every year. I mean, my my Facebook page is mostly just game news sites, like even from YouTube, I'm watching game news. Like that's kind of what I surround myself with. So from game stuff, for 2014, I was kind of excited for this year, specifically for the Wii U. I am a big Nintendo fan, and this year did look hopeful for the Wii U.
Thankfully.
Yes. I had my Wii U. I got it midnight release.
When was that? Was that end of 2012 or?
That was 13.
13.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a lot of fun with it. Like I like the Wii U. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff to have fun with it.
Like, what was it? Party?
Yeah,
Nintendo
I mean, there was the
Land
game that came out with it, which was Nintendo Land.
Which is fun.
It was
for
great.
Sure.
It was awesome.
It was a blast.
And one thing that I liked about the game was just like, when I played it, I was like, wow, look at all these awesome opportunities for games. And then it didn't happen, unfortunately. But this year it did. I think the level was of excitement for the Wii U, and the quality of the games and kind of the stuff that we got back from it,
like catching up to it.
Right. It was really great. I mean, towards the end of the year we got Smash Brothers, which was fantastic.
Which is a blast.
Oh yeah.
Again, I'm gonna keep using that word.
And we also got Mario Kart. I mean, two fantastic games.
Probably
those are the kind of games that...
Not that I play many games, but from what I've seen and heard and played, they're two of the best games out there this year, definitely, if not more than just this year.
I agree, yeah. Those two, like, those are the kind that you spend a lot of time with, and you have a lot of fun with the console. I like those kind of big single-player kind of releases that come out. Not that many for the Wii U, but in games in general. But I do like games like Mario Kart or Super Smash Bros. That I know I'm going to be going back to, like, for years. You know, those are the kind of things that you play on and off just kind of forever. So
yeah, a lot of people make a big deal about how, you know, the next generation is of PlayStation and Microsoft are, you know, they have better graphics and they have better this and that, but like, there's something to be said for playability and replayability and intuitiveness and just like plain old fun, you know?
yeah,
Because like games are getting really gritty, and I don't want to say adult because that's not what I'm trying to say, but like it's more about an aesthetic, I think, and
absolutely, yeah.
You know, providing a sort of gritty narrative and, you know, taking the player to these places with like cool scenery and stuff, and that's fine, and that's an interesting way that you can take games for sure. But there's something to be said with like sitting with 8 people and just beating the heck out of each other on Super Smash Bros. Because it's a whole new element that I think is underplayed these days, because it's all about online. It's all about like, I'm going to play against somebody in their living room, you know, miles away. When you have everybody together, it's just a new dynamic, and it's underrated for sure.
I do like that, yeah. You brought up kind of that online. One thing that I do think is interesting, and this isn't so much with the Wii U, but I mean, one title that definitely comes to mind is like Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and now we have Assassin's Creed Unity, which I have not played. I don't plan on playing. I'm sorry, but
Too French.
It's just like I like this new kind of blending. Like when we first got this multiplayer kind of co-op experience, it was sort of geared towards it happens, but only at specific times when you and your friend want to play it, and it's just not very reliable. I like that we have this sort of blurring of the lines between those two things.
Or it's
now,
like, and you can do it yourself or
right.
with somebody. And
I like that. I like that this new kind of way of making it more accessible for everyone, but having a broader horizon of your possibilities for playing, which I think is cool, and I think we'll see more of. I think that it has a lot of possibility, and it's something that hasn't really been, I think, just with the way that stability and stuff goes, I think that now we're kind of hitting that point where we can have more stable stuff, where we can
like input drop people in at any
right,
time, and
where this becomes so I can't think of the word now. Yeah, okay, forget that word, but I think we'll see more of it in this coming year.
I was just thinking of Hyrule Warriors. Like, I mean, you can do that game by yourself, but you can add another person at any time, and it's a fun experience for 2 people.
That was cool, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so Nintendo. One thing we want to talk about is it's being memorable, I guess, is the continued influx of Marvel movies.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Now I'll say this before we start this. I gave up on Marvel like last year.
Iron Man 2, maybe?
Yeah, you know, it was when it started getting, you know, I think around Thor.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did
I
the
think
second
around,
one come out this year?
I think so.
Oh, man. Yeah,
No,
okay.
Wait, did it?
No, it was November last year, I think.
Okay. Yeah, like as soon as I think which came out before, was it Thor or Captain America?
It was Thor first.
Okay. So by the time that Captain America came out, saw that, liked it, but then after
You're like,
that
"I'm
is
done."
where it was like it started to get nuts, and I gave up. Didn't see the Avengers. I have seen it since, but I did not watch it in theaters. Didn't plan to. So
Yeah. And I've got superhero fatigue, definitely. But apparently people keep watching these movies.
the world has not. No.
And I don't know. A lot of people liked Winter Soldier, the new Captain America. I have some issues with it. But it was like, I don't know. It was a passable film, I guess. And if you want to know all my thoughts, you can ask me sometime because I could go into depth here. But let's just say that it wasn't my favorite thing.
Different episode, right?
Different episode.
The Marvel
Josh's
episode.
opinion about Marvel.
Marvel,
which
yeah.
is very complex. However, Guardians of the Galaxy, though, I thought was something different. And, you know, it was sort of just, you know, the plot was kind of a veneer for, you know, it was really kind of thin. Not much going on. The villains, you know, everything was a bit shallow. But saying that is doing a discredit, I think, because it honestly is a genuine and funny movie. And
Yeah.
you know, what can you say to that? I enjoyed every time that I've seen it, and I laughed, and I had fun. And, like, what more can you ask out of a movie experience?
I would say a lot because, you know, like I've already given my opinion on Marvel. I'm tired of it, but I did see Guardians of the Galaxy later again, but I did like it, and I think that it was a lot of that kind of comedy element that sold it, because that's something I can enjoy, whether I like the premise or not.
Yeah,
you know,
whether
a
you
good
buy
joke
into it
is a
or not.
good joke. You know,
It's true.
Now, I did like the fact that it was different, like you said. You know, it had that sci-fi. It was almost like I was watching a sci-fi movie, not a superhero movie per se.
Yeah.
But I do think it was a comedy that kind of sold that
Yeah.
that movie, especially for me. But
Yeah. I mean, and to take characters that people don't already have associations with, most people, I'll say. I certainly had no idea who any of them were, and I thought it looked promising from the trailer, and fortunately, you know, it delivered. It was a funny movie, and that's all I could ask for. Maybe there are people that, you know, have some kind of association with Marvel a little more than I do that could say otherwise, but, you know, I thought it did well. So,
and I agree.
so, and I put it, honestly, I put it as my top Marvel movie, probably. And that also can be a subject for another day.
Right.
Yeah, so that's been an interesting thing to track and to look at, is this Marvel movie influx. And speaking of, you know, it's something that we're tracking for next year as well as, or I should say this year, is more Marvel.
It doesn't look like it's going to stop
It's-
anytime soon.
Especially, you know, DC and Marvel, they've got this arms race of superhero movies going on where they've got like 8 each in production or inked to come out in the next 10 years. And I don't know, it's just ridiculous, but we'll see.
It is interesting, and like, I don't want to go back, but that kind of what we learned kind of thing, that is kind of interesting, that how fast movies are put out now compared to how they were. Now, like, we get multiple Marvel movies a year, and you compare that to, you know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it's like it's
Yeah.
super sped up to what it was.
They've really got a production system, and it helps because they don't have like a specific director aesthetic they're going for necessarily. They can kind of just plug people in and say like, you're going to do a Marvel movie. This is how it's going to feel because it's Marvel, That gives them they have a lot of creative power over what's going on over there. Whereas, Christopher Nolan in the Batman series, and I don't want to like say like, oh, but look over here because like, Batman, I enjoyed that trilogy. It has its own issues as well, but it's one director, it's one aesthetic, and so you get them a lot less frequently. And for some people, that's a good thing. Myself, but for others, maybe it's not enough to get their Marvel fix, and apparently there's a big need for that. So,
sorry to segue there, but yeah. Not with movies, but almost the new breed of large media, I would say now is of course YouTube.
Yeah.
Just sort of that whole kind of internet
or like Netflix series.
Right. This whole kind of almost like, I guess, like internet media kind of thing. That like I said, like with YouTube and specifically is kind of like, I think it's kind of, it's matured a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's hit its stride, but like it's big now. Like it's a thing. People are recognizing it as a real force.
It's like it's having a moment.
Right.
Of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in particular, I would say one of our personal favorites for this last year, 2014, would be VGHS.
Yes. And for those of you unlearned, it is Video Game High School, which is a web series done by Freddie Wong, who is a pretty big YouTube name, and his channel called Rocket Jump. So, and that was kind of a banner sort of event for them. And for kind of the medium in general. It's, they crowdfunded part of it. They raised like $900,000, and their budget overall ended up being like $2.7 million or something like that with sponsors. And they put out like a pretty good series out of it.
I would say so too.
And I mean, they really went some places that I think show that, YouTube videos don't have to be just about cats or even like games in itself. Like,
I would agree that kind of level of quality. I mean, there are definitely things on YouTube that are high quality, good entertainment that's really fun to watch. But I think VGHS is probably, I mean, if you don't count like music videos, stuff like that, VGHS is really kind of like, I would say almost the top tier kind of YouTube watching experience, like in terms of how much money they spend on what it is.
Yeah.
And they did deliver. I mean, it's really cool to see something that is like YouTube brand, basically, that is
like a YouTube exclusive.
That I think YouTube videos in general, for a lot of the world, you have to be a certain kind of person to enjoy that kind of thing. You have to be someone with time on their hands who gets bored that wants to watch YouTube videos. I would say that describes a lot of YouTube in general.
Yeah.
But I think that VGHS shows that it's not just for those kind of people, that
there's a niche for people who want like longer form content
and good quality content as well.
Content.
Yeah.
Aren't just there to watch how animals eat or the next viral video.
Right. And I do think that,
there's
YouTube,
a place for that.
There's a place for that. That's what I like about YouTube especially, is that you can have such a broad dynamic, like with the different things that you can get from it. And I like that VGHS has really shown that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been fun to watch the progression of things. Anyway, so we're about out of time here. So we just I'm going to preview next week's episode. We're going to talk about things we're looking forward to in 2015, and maybe cover a couple more of these media moments. But that's all for now. We're grateful that you joined us today, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye. That's a horrible closing thing. Goodbye.